And good morning. I guess I've waited long enough. It's 541, which is a 10. And this is my third, I believe, 10th wave video. We still have 10 more days to go after today and this 10th wave. And the title I've given today is Education is More Important Than Ever Before. And I wrote, this morning, there are many things going through my mind and catching my attention. I'm just going to share from my heart and see what comes forth as I speak about educating ourselves. Thank you for listening and hearing me. Really brief. After I came in from the meditation room this morning, I've spent probably about 45 minutes to an hour catching up on the emails and the things that cross my plate. And I think I'm going to actually start with the one I got from Occupy Los Angeles, the video that I got about them serving notices on the Superior Court in LA. And they served notices about this. The courts have been in bed with the banks for a very long time. 60% of the judges' retirement funds, the 801ks, which I don't think it actually mentioned in the video, but you've heard of, everybody in the United States anyway has heard of 401ks. Well, there's 801ks, and that has to do with the retirement funds of the judges and the lawyers that make up the legal system. It's not the judiciary, because it is actually the legal system is an administrative system that rules on monetary matters, that makes decisions on monetary matters. And because the banks are in bed with the courts, people do not get a fair shake. One of the things you'll hear in that video, and I will post that video, I guess I need to put a link to it on YouTube in this I don't know, I never remember what that's called. The description of this for this video, I need to put a link to that because you can't put links in YouTube in comments. But I will post that link again. It's already posted on my Facebook page, the actual video. But this is important information to know, and it's one of the main things that the Republic is trying to restore, one of the main remedies. And when people that are in the Republic, join the Republic, they're no longer in the de facto system, they are in the de jure system, and they operate under a whole different set of rules and laws. They actually operate under common law in the system being set up by the restored Republic. But anyway, and I want to talk about the Republic, and let me get to that after I make some more comments on this issue with the banks and the courts. The order given to the Superior Court judge and also served on the governor of California, and it affects every state in the United States, and I'm certain all of the free world, so-called free world or first world or whatever, and much of the third world as well. Wherever there are homes being sold and banking going on and courts holding session, there is injustice happening to the people. The people are waking up. We are the people. One of the things that they said in that video is that the banks cannot prove that any loan was ever made to the person listed on mortgage contracts or credit card applications or anything else as the borrower. This is true. The one who makes the loan, listen to me, folks, the one who actually makes the loan to the bank is the one that's listed on the paperwork as the borrower. The banks have nothing to lend, and it is unlawful for a bank to loan out money deposited with it and money that would affect the shareholders in the bank. By law, a bank cannot loan anything. Do you hear what I'm saying? They commit a fraud. They have you, when you think you need something, go to the bank to borrow money. What they don't tell you is that you are creating the money by your need. Listen to me, by your need. You want to get a new car, you want to get a home, you want to get this or that to enrich your life or to use in your life. You create that, and in this culture, it's called money. The paper that you sign, even if it's for a credit card application, is money. The paper that you sign, listen to me, is money. And you're giving it to the banks to commit fraud on you. You're giving it to the banks. The bank does not have anything to give you. They give you a check. But if you were to get a copy of your title page of your original promissory note, if you were to get a copy of your title page, it would be marked paid in full and for deposit only to the bank. It's a negotiable instrument. That is the money. We don't need the monetary system created by the banks. We don't need it. It is a fraud. It is a deception. It is a magnificent deception, one that we've all fallen for. And the courts must recluse themselves because they have a vested interest in the bank succeeding in their fraud. So the courts are committing fraud whenever they hear an issue, do we having to do with foreclosure or having to do with any debt process. They are committing fraud. All of the collection agencies around the world are committing fraud in trying to collect debt. Debt is a fiction. It is a fraud. Do you hear me? When governments borrow money from banks, the governments are committing fraud. Do you understand what I'm saying? Governments have the lawful authority to print money for the people. It doesn't even have to be backed by gold, silver, or any precious commodity, so-called precious commodity. It only has to have the value that the people agree for it to have. It doesn't matter that it's fiat money created out of thin air. It's a negotiable instrument created by the government to serve the people. That's the role of money in modern culture. But it has been co-opted by people for private gain and to gain power and advantage over other people. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm sharing with you? This information is the bedrock of what the Republic is wanting to restore. Do you hear me? We can get into the name calling of Tim Turner is too much of a Bible-thumping Christian. We can get into the name calling of people that feel that they have not played with the knowledge that they gain in Tim Turner seminars, and it's backfired on them because they came up against a corrupt system, and the corrupt system beat them because they didn't know enough and didn't know how to express themselves adequately in the court. Tim Turner wins. Why? Because he knows the law and he knows how to express the law. He's shrewd. I want a shrewd person handling the interim. And I'm going to defend Tim Turner because I hugged him, I looked into his eyes, and I felt his heart. I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying any human being on this planet is perfect. We can find fault with ourselves and with each other if that's the game we want to play. But it's a stupid game. It's a game that will keep us in bondage and in slavery to a system that is totally corrupt and totally fraudulent, and that the people are finally beginning to wake up to. Don't get sidetracked. Don't get derailed by all the rhetoric of polarization where they're trying to put you at odds with. It's not about liberals or conservatives. It's not about haves or have-nots. It's not about the rich or the poor. It's not about any class, the blacks or the whites, or any religion, the Muslims versus the Christians versus the Jews versus the Hindus versus the Buddhists. All of these are sidetrack issues. They are not the issue. The issue is, do you want your life to be empowered? Do you want your life to be enriched? If you do, we have to take our power back. The elite has no power except our blind consent, our unwitting consent to their fraud. They have committed fraud, but the fraud is a gift. Hear me. This is something I've been saying throughout the ninth wave, and I'm saying it still. The fraud and all of the corruption is the gift we gave ourselves to wake ourselves up and take our power back and create heaven on earth. It doesn't do any good, like people pointed out a couple of days ago, to be praying for help if you're not willing to help yourself. I used to hate it when people said, God helps those who help themselves. I'd look and say, it's not in the Bible. It's not in the Bible. And I would pray and ask God to do things that I wasn't willing or smart enough to do for myself. Well, I was wrong. People that want me to hear me say that I'm wrong, I'm saying I was wrong. That's not how we pray. I don't now pray for things. I do pray that all of the gifts that are mine, that have been mine from the beginning of my soul, be restored to me consciously now as a human being in physical form. I do pray that all of the people that are part of my soul family be reunited with me, that we can stand together, that we can create heaven on earth together. I do pray that my extraterrestrial friends and family that have been separated from me through in this illusion of time and space, that they are reunited with me, that my future and my past come together in my present, so that I can be empowered and enriched, and empower and enrich others that are still on the journey home. Do you hear what I'm saying? We need to stop fighting, and we need to come together and understand that republic has nothing to do with Republican. It has to do with leaders taking the mantle of responsibility and servanthood in serving the rest of the people to empower them, to stand up for the rights of the smallest minority, one individual who has a need to know who they are, who may have forgotten, who needs love and compassion, not criticism. We need to rethink our world. We need to revision our world. We need to take back our world. How do we do that? We do that by loving one another, by listening to one another, by allowing one another to be wherever the individual is, and loving them to the best of our ability. Now, there are some people in my world right now, Michael Erickson for one, that I don't want to listen to him anymore. He's on this trip of trying to prove me and anybody that thinks like me wrong. There's a bunch of people that are saying I'm a false prophet and I'm a liar and I'm a Mason and I'm this and I'm that. That's bullshit. You hear me? It's total bullshit. That's not who I am. I've never been a Mason. I don't think Masons are necessarily bad. I think most Masons think they're doing a good job, but they've been deceived like you have been deceived, like I have been deceived. We haven't known the truth. That's why we've been in bondage. We know the truth sets us free. We need to take back our courts, we need to take back our banks, we need to take back our governments, we need to take back the corporations, we need to take back our individual lives, and we need to take back our community. Do you hear what I'm saying? This is what stands before us. This is what the Occupy movement needs to be about and needs to be aware of. And don't get sidetracked on issues of blaming and shaming and name-calling, because that is foolishness, and it will not accomplish the result that we want in our hearts. Now, there are people that still want to keep the old system. They're going to fight, some of them, maybe most of them, but there's a losing battle, because as we awaken, there's nothing that can stand against the light of truth. Nothing. Nothing. And what we're calling for is we're calling for transparency. We're calling for truth in government. Governments are the servant of the people, not the other way around. Banks are there to serve people, not the other way around. And all of the lies and all of the corruption and all of the deceit needs to be brought to the light, and we need to know it and know it for a fact. And then we can create heaven on earth. And this is the second coming of Christ in us, as us. This is what we have waited for. We get beyond the religion and beyond the superstition and beyond the bullshit, and we simply create a world in which everyone is empowered and enriched, loved and appreciated. I appreciate all of you that listen, and I thank you for listening. I hope I'm helping you educate yourself regarding the world that we live in. Namaste.